Good morning and welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is Sunday, June 16th, 2024, and it is Father's Day. My name is Janet Rader and I'm the worship associate for today. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds. We're on YouTube also. Hello, YouTubers. To be put on our email list or to find out more information about us, go to our website at tcuuc.org and notice the email link to request our online newsletter. Please silence your cell phones if you have not done so. I wonder if we have any visitors this morning. Wonderful. So glad to have you with us. Announcements, please see the printed order of service and the Friday newsletter for details. Join us for our brown bag lunch. That's coming up this Tuesday at the Stewart Veterans Memorial Park downtown. That is at noon, and we always have a fun time together. For July and August, we will be at 10:30 in an informal circle in Heston Hall instead of being here in our worship center. Today we will have coffee and cookies in our social hall after the service. And a big thanks to those who helped with the service, Jackie Robbins and Judy Bajoris for the music, our greeters, Jackie Buckley and Janet Grote, and ushers and tech elf, Karina Poloni, and our tech support, Rachel Valentino. We thank our hospitality team, Marguerite Gregory and Juanita Martino, and please pitch in after our service for hospitality and then stay around for talks. And now our prelude. Thank you, Jackie. And now for our chalice lighting words. Today is the day to celebrate the sacred vocation of fatherhood. Let us remember today and always the impact that these people have on us as individuals and as a community. And let us also remember that this relationship is not one-sided, and that we as a community are called to support and empower the fathers of this world, no matter how they came into their roles, and regardless of their relative successes or failures. Let us raise up their triumphs, and let us have the grace to forgive them for their all too human failures. Let us love our fathers and each other. Come, let us worship together. And now hymn number 1, stand if you would like, for hymn 29, Joyful, Joyful, 3 verses. Let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
The responsive reading is number 547, Summer Meditation, Well, it's almost summer, isn't it?
Yep.
Now blows the wind with soft, relaxing warmth. The sun beats down, the schools are out. Children swarm in the playgrounds and the streets, and eager city folk, vacation-bound, crowd the broad highways. The lakes and seashores lose their solitude, and all the world seems turned to carnival. What of ourselves? There could be now deep peace, a time for soul searching. We might turn to examine our own lives, to sort and probe our tendencies of thought, to sift the true from false in the things of doubt, the beautiful from ugliness unmarked. The sun beats down, it is a time for pause. Even the trees seem resting for a time, as if to meditate and gather strength for the more strenuous times that lie ahead. And shall not we? Here's the unfinished clay, half molded, that still waits on us. To think what we have been and as we are still, yet have to become. Robert Weston. Now is our time for sharing matters of joy, concern, sorrow, and we hope that as you share yours, you'll know you are heard and supported. Let me mention a few before I invite you. Jenny, our new admin church secretary, informed us that her mate, Dave, I believe, was going to Illinois to spend time with his mother. And I think she said 92. We know how young that is. She had some heart repair while Dave was up there, and some damage was done in the process of repair. And so further surgery on the heart was necessary. So Jenny joined him. She wasn't going to, but she did. And she lets me know she'll be back at the end of the week, and I let her know, take the time she needs, family first. Jenny's mate's mom, we wish her the best, and we move a stone for her. One of our own, Rose Krickenberger, starts knee repair tomorrow. The first knee is to have a new ball joint, whatever is put in there. I have two, but I forget what they are. Anyhow, we wish her the best. We hope that goes well. She has family coming down from Pennsylvania to look after her while she is in repair. Now, one who was recently in repair, I trust, will tell us how she's doing. Won't you, Pat?
Yes.
Don't feel the need to do a dance for us up here, but just tell us.
I almost could. Thank you all. I appreciated your kind messages. Things went very well. I'm very glad to have it over with. I tell people it only hurts when the PT's there. And the best part of all is how renewed my appreciation is for my stepson, Tim, who pulled out to head back to Alabama this morning. He's truly the greatest gift that my late husband ever gave me.
Good, Pat. Pat, now bionic. Yes.
I'm so proud of Thomas, who started his first job this past week and is doing a wonderful job. He's working in the kitchen at my job at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and his supervisor, Chef Dan, says he's doing a great job.
Can we come around and give him a hard time at work? Is that? Yes, Tia, you come on up, and I guess Bob will follow you.
I think I'm supposed to be moving stones, right? Oh, you're doing it.
You'll get your chance another day.
I'm Tia Breeding, and I was gone last week. I've been to New York and Connecticut and back, so I have 3 joys. The first one is I got to sing at Carnegie Hall. You can't tell it from my voice now.
Were you singing alone, Tia?
Oh, God, no. Oh, excuse me. Yes. 150 of us, yes. So, and we went to two plays. We went to the Wiz and the Cabaret, and we saw Central Park. We did a bunch of stuff, and then we took the train up to see Deb. That's my second joy. We got to see Deb and Francisco and the
Deb
4 furry
Harris.
ones. Yes. And they seem really happy. They're beginning to get over their obstacles. They have a great little house, which he's really worked hard on. He's had to take it back to the studs practically. And, but his immigration papers are in for whatever the next step is. And he's got his driver's license en route. So they're making progress, but they're still planning to come back here sometime. And I don't know where the camera is. Hi, Deb, if you're watching, miss you. And my third joy is it's so good to be back with all of you that I love, so at home.
Good. That's a lot of joy.
A lot of joy. Oh, thank you.
Well, I got some good news about my friend Marilyn. She's finally escaping the hospital and rehab, and I'm going to go pick her up today and take her to her condo. So wish us luck. It's good news, though.
Good to hear. Good news is always welcome. Anyone else? Then all right, Judith.
Good morning, I'm Judith, and I want to thank everybody who sent me best wishes and hoped I get better, and I'm better. It's a mysterious illness, which I think maybe Pam Corbin had, actually, and 2 other people I've known that have a little like COVID, but not quite COVID. So I'm very glad to be back, and I can't thank you all for your best wishes. Thank you.
Good to have you here. Anyone else? Then we always move one for those we have not mentioned out loud, but we all have people we care about, worry about. This is for those cares. For a pastoral meditation, this intro, I look for hymns that you can sing. I don't want you leaving the service thinking, what's wrong with him? He couldn't pick one we know. So I often come upon them, hymns that are treasures, I think, but I don't know if we can sing them. But I know we can listen to them. So I found this beautiful piece called Now I Recall My Childhood. It's hymn number 191, if you want to read it silently as I read it aloud. But as I read this and thought about this, it speaks so eloquently of times we've had, perhaps fleeting, and of times in front of us, perhaps fleeting, perhaps lasting. But it's just a beautiful thing by the Indian poet, I believe, Tagore, 191. Now I recall my childhood. Now I recall my childhood when the sun burst to my bedside with the day's surprise. Faith in the marvelous bloomed anew each dawn. Flowers bursting fresh within my heart each day. Then looking on the world with simple joy, on insects, birds and beasts and common weeds, the grass and clouds had fullest wealth of awe. My mother's voice gave meaning to the stars. Now, when I turn to think of coming death, I find life's song in star songs of the night, in rise of curtains and new morning light, in life reborn, in fresh surprise of love. And now moments of silence. Spirit of Life is like our theme song, 123. We hum it once and then we sing it once, and we may sit or stand, whichever we want. We hope that all who come here experience a generosity of spirit, and at this time called our morning offering, we need to experience your generosity. And now I have two willing volunteers. I'm sure I do. Who might they be? Thomas, do you want to take the plate? But you have to bring it all back. You understand that? Terrific. That was beautiful, Jackie. Thank you. Now, this preface paragraph may explain why my sermon might seem briefer than usual this morning. This past week, Lori and I attended 2 high school graduations in Durham, North Carolina, my firstborn's twins. They were in separate high schools about a week apart, so sleep-in had a very repetitious breakfast. The graduating classes reflected the world. And because the mom wanted us to be there early for good seats and sitting together, we were there about an hour before each one, and we got to look over the graduating classes extensively. There were young Muslim women with elegant hair cover under their, mortarboard and tassel? There were African and Caribbean names with matching accessories and cheering sections in the audience with drums to yell pride to them and to the world. I could not help but think, how could so many Americans today be driven by fear of diversity? So much of it that we need Pride Month and Juneteenth to remind all of us of battles fought and to be fought if necessary. So much promise and beauty in those young people. There was hair coloring, blue, yellow, not together. I would have thought that might have been a statement about Ukraine, but there was all kinds of beautiful hair color and some natural beautiful hair color. But anyway, it was really a view of the world to behold and not to fear. The sermon. A polarized America, alternate realities, alternative facts. Echo chambers can kill us. And my fear and my question, have we become an echo chamber? Most of us can remember news anchors and journalists we trusted with our minds. Here's my list of journalism giants of the free press, AKA truth to power. Now, in a minute, I'll ask you whom I've missed, just a name. But these come to my mind. Walter Cronkite, Huntley and Brinkley. Brinkley had a biopic he put out, a book he entitled, Everybody Has a Right to My Opinion. I like that. Howard K. Smith, Peter Jennings, Dan Rather, Harry Reasoner, Peter Lissagore, Eric Severide, Andy Rooney. Remember curmudgeon Andy Rooney? Helen Thomas. Remember curmudgeon Helen Thomas? A rose and a thorn to many U.S. presidents. Truth seekers, truth tellers, all. Now, who comes to your mind? Gwen Ifill, sure. Who else? Gwen Ifill, she said. Hmm?
The one they give the award in the name of.
The one they give the awards in the name of?
Yeah, the original, honest to God, journalist. Robert Morrow, was that his name?
Who?
Was it Robert Morrow? The one that.
Edward R. Murrow?
Edward R. Murrow, thank you.
Okay, yes.
Connie.
Now, who was the second one? Oh, okay. Who else? Yes, Mondays at 9.
Vice President of Kevin.
Anybody else? Yes, right.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart, comedian, telling so much truth. Yeah.
Amy Goodman from Democracy Now!
Anybody else? I happened upon the mighty necessary role of the free press almost by accident, and more than once to my utter surprise. In sermon prep over my years, I've tried, did I say ears or years? I've tried to remember who said some mighty famous words. These words, I've tried to recall more than once in my time here. Who said it? Pre and post Google. Who said it? These words. Their job is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. It sounds like the role of religion. Comfort the afflicted, afflict the comfortable. The good book, were the prophets of Israel, made it to Holy Writ in the 700s BCE by telling truth to power. The iconic, mythological, face-to-face, prophet-to-king moment came with Israel's greatest, King David. He saw from the window of his royal chambers a woman, Bathsheba, sunbathing, and had to have her, and did. She became pregnant, and her husband was off in the king's army. The king orchestrates a home visit by the husband. Get the soldier to get a furlough, home visit. But the good soldier won't sleep with his wife because he took a vow. All his energy for the king's war. It's in the Bible. I didn't make that up. So the greatest king, King David, has plan B. Send the husband to the front line where he is killed. The king's fortunes of war change, and the prophet Nathan comes calling. He tells mighty King David a story. A sheep farmer was rich and powerful and had many sheep. And he had a poor neighbor who had only one lamb whom he loved. And the rich sheep herder took and slew the poor neighbor's lamb. And then the prophet Nathan asked the king, what should happen to a man who would do that? The king knows about morality. King to prophet, he should die. Prophet to king, thou art the man. Truth to power. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. It sounds like it should have come from religion, but when I had to look it up, I think it was the Hearst newspapers. The news should do that. Religions in the Western world have been fine with comforting the comfortable. Here's what got me to wondering, have we become an echo chamber? 2 Sundays ago, a number of us went to a community meeting at the Unity Church, our neighbor, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. 2 of us were in on the planning. It was the second meeting. The first one was here, the end of April. These meetings were to inform and arouse and organize our community about the threat and the reality of Project 2025, a billionaires-backed plan to restrict democracy in America and make us a white Christian nationalist nation. Not what our founders wanted, separation of church and state. So at this great meeting, it was great because of the large attendance, 2 weeks ago, there were a number of speakers energized by this very real threat. So the leaders are huddling up front to make up the program as we go. And someone says, a leader of one of the major parties wants to speak briefly. Is that okay? So I say, sure, but we ought to ask, is there a leader from the other party? Is there anyone from the other party who would speak up? The invitation was made. No one from the other party chose to speak up if they were present. I felt thud and loss. The white nationalist folk will want and have an echo chamber. We don't. That's not America. So this idea or question has hounded me. Several of you have told me about other UU congregations in your journey who had regular scheduled discussions of current events, politics, what's right and wrong about the country we all love. I would call it a difference of opinion. We are a welcoming congregation. Surely we would welcome a difference of opinion. We learn more, don't we, from people we disagree with than we do from people we agree with. Not everybody can disagree in a non-off-putting way, but I hope we are people who beg to differ and can invite others to do the same. Now here's my thought, to which I'm sure you'll give thought and respond positively. My thought is once a month or twice a month, we hold a 9:30 a.m. gathering. Yes, an hour before our service here. And I can hear a number of you thinking, we beg to differ, Bob. Hold that thought. We'll sleep on it. So we meet at 9:30 and announce the topic, which we've announced ahead of time. These topics come to my mind: income inequality in America, affordable housing, taxation, health care for vets, for children, for all, mental health, ditto, the Second Amendment, musket or machine gun, immigration, global warming. You could think of a lot more topics. We have a great green team here who TLC's our property and made it into a home national park. We have a lot of bright people here at TCUUC who could form a gray matter team, and figure out how to welcome and learn from a difference of opinion. Now here's a purely hypothetical suggestion. Each meeting has one topic and two facilitators. One leader makes a predominantly D response, and the other makes a respectful and predominantly R response. In my hypothetical here, purely or impurely hypothetical, I'm guessing we are mainly Ds. How would you offer a respectful R take on a subject? Even if you are a D, who are the R's in your lifetime you've listened to and learned from? At least learned how R's think and what they value. Here again is my list, and I'm going to ask you to add to it. 2 Romneys, George and Mitt, G.H.W. Bush, Eisenhower, whom I believe chose our party pretty close to the 52 convention that nominated him. And a great general brings to mind Colin Powell, John McCain, Gerald Ford, Bob Dole. Now, what R's come to your mind in my hypothetical here? Any that you could think of that I haven't? Yes. I think we'd go with that, Jackie. Anyone else? Bill Buckley, yeah.
John Ashcroft.
Yeah.
Joe Flanagan is the chair of the Martin County Republican
Anybody else come to mind? Yes. Anyone else? Senator Danforth was, I think, from Missouri, wasn't he? And I had the greatest respect for him. I think he was an Episcopal minister before he went to the Senate, I think. But then I also heard that he nominated Clarence Thomas for the Supreme Court. Well, no speeches, I'm sorry. But we're talking hypothetical here. Anyway, in a back and forth in my hypothetical 9:30, once a month, twice a month meeting, you could offer ideas from a party if there's only one party really represented there. My topic today is difference of opinion. Do we really just want to hear our own? You've heard me say, if you have taken that leap of faith called marriage, you thought you knew what you were getting. You thought and knew you wanted what you were getting. But what nobody told you you were getting was a second opinion, a difference of opinion about almost everything. I thought love of classical music and love of cats pretty much covered it. When people discover TCUUC, and they stay long enough for me to ask, what are you looking for in religion? I usually hear like-mindedness, open-mindedness, progressive, liberal. Progressive and liberal mean about the same: generosity of mind and heart. In my experience, people more proudly tell you they are conservative, and people more carefully, if they tell you at all, that they are liberal. They all have some amount of live and let live, agree to disagree, and some amount of listen and learn, hopefully. Opinionated, yes, because most of us have been burnt by opinionated. And many of us, if not most of us, have been around too many people who would tell us what to believe and not get around to asking what we believe. Key for me is, do we really want and welcome a difference of opinion? Of course, we would only come here if we were welcome, opinions and all, not to sound like warts and all. We could put that on a bumper sticker that Jenny, our new admin, and I are going to get around to. A church that doesn't ask you to leave your brain at the door. Search for truth and love of science are among our principles. Search suggests a bit of humility and modesty in how much we know about vital matters. If in that favorite reading of mine that I haven't brought up here for some time, but this is just a part of it, Bertrand Russell, philosopher, mathematician, if he can say, I have sought knowledge, I have wished to understand the hearts of people, I have wished to know why the stars shine, and I have tried to understand the Pythagorean power by which number holds sway above the flux. A little of this, but not much, I have achieved. Would you call that false modesty? A little of this, but not much? Or a much healthier attitude about how much we really do know? And this, we know for sure, we have a lot to learn. And one way is to be open to what others can teach us. 126, hymn number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
Starting with an intro?
Do we have our act together?
Yes.
Let's stand or sit, whichever you want. Just a minute, I think I threw you off. Difference of opinion, good, but in music, same page is better. So let's start again, just as you start.
Okay, so they're a little slower, so we can actually do the words.
Do you need it a little slower?
Yeah. Really? So they can,
I only know about page, not pace.
so they can digest the words as they're singing. So let's start at the very beginning. Very beginning.
Yeah, the beginning. Let's all sing.
1, 2, 3.
Sing to our hearts, to sing thy grace, peace and mercy, and peace, songs of God's Thank you. Please be seated. And before these closing words, I'm remembering that we got through our sorrows and joys time, and I failed to mention the nightmare of rain that people south of us have been going through and wading through. And more, the onslaught of nature across. It used to be some hurricanes and some fires in the west. Now it seems like deliveries of death across the nation. Now talk of higher temperatures. I don't mean to end on such a positive note. I'm just keeping all those folks in mind and wanting the wars to be silent in several parts of the earth. All right, a little sermonette there, but these are the closing words by Barbara Peskin. Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of and in spite of the horizons of their vision, we too dream.
you get if you sleep in. No practice. I got to bed before 3.